Bam, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
We got our little sign on our table. Jam
I got to get a
Session
picture
Radio.
of that.
Welcome,
That's pretty
Anthony
great.
Quarter.
Jam Sessions Radio. What's happening?
Hey, brother.
This is awesome. I'm so happy.
We're happy that
Are
you're
y'all
with us.
excited? Y'all having a good time?
We are having a good time. I mean, it's Nashville. It's music. It's friends and family.
Yeah, community, culture. Chris and them are doing a great job getting this thing.
Yeah.
I've been a part of every one of them.
Have you?
From the very beginning. I love it, man. They got, they had a mindset of just bringing everybody together. I love it. So
Right.
I'm excited about it.
One big jam session, if you will.
Yes,
oh,
if
sorry,
you
the pun
will.
there. Yeah,
Big jam session.
No, I'm excited, y'all. This is just fun, man. Getting everybody. I think we're coming out of the hangover of COVID and pandemic and all that stuff, and it just feels like this year we're a day or two away from spring busting wide open, and we're about to get out and
Mother
see
Nature.
everybody. Yeah,
absolutely.
Mother Nature will get her act straight. She'll decide it's going to stay warm instead of like, okay, we're going to give you an 80-degree day. Ha, sorry, it's freezing.
Yeah, listen, hey, welcome to Tennessee, man.
Right,
You get all 4 seasons in 1 week.
Yeah. Speaking of welcome to Tennessee, we were talking with Todd Poole, our buddy, earlier today.
Yeah, man, he's crazy.
Todd he's so crazy fun. And you are so much fun, too. And he was like, Anthony's into, like, local beers. And he's like, he had this beer. I can't think of the name right now. He's like, but it tastes like grapefruit.
Oh, yeah. It was an easy IPA from, it's Mills Creek here in town.
Okay.
Plugging my local.
The local Mills Creek
pubs.
Brewing.
They're out of Nolensville, Tennessee. You guys try them out. It was just funny. Todd, I've known him, man, so long. We grew up together, and he's a great front man. He's had a bunch of bands. He's a killer writer. Just can't say enough good stuff about him. He's awesome, man.
Yeah, it seems like there's like a family, right, that has grown up, and you think of it's very hard not to associate, like when you think of Roxy Blue, you think of Tora, you think of Every Mother's Nightmare. When you think of any one of them, right, the other two kind of
it was kind of like a trifecta is what I guess Todd and them would say. And we were all, there was a happening scene in Memphis when we all came along because they promoted local music. The local radio station had a locals only show. They were letting you do live gigs where you weren't doing cover songs, so they had events set up. They had there was a local DJ back then named Malcolm Riker that came in, and he was challenging the established rock station, and so he did a locals only show, and he got the local music store to provide a backline, and he had a venue. It was the New Daisy on Bill Street. It was about a 900-seat theater, and you could play 15 minutes or 3 songs, whatever lasted longer, and then they would unplug you or pull you off stage. But Rock 98, because of where Memphis sits in like the southwest corner of the state, it was broadcasting over Arkansas and Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee. So you got all these bands that would show up on those jam nights, and we were little and brand new, didn't know anything, but some of those dudes were like pretty seasoned. They were coming in and we were going, oh my God, this guy's incredible. We didn't realize the dude had put in, 5 years of kicking everybody's ass or whatever. But it made you, it made you get excited. And all the bands there were kind of rooting for each other. It was definitely competitive, but it was a good competition because we knew if somebody got attention, it brought attention to all of us. So it's kind of like the rising water helps all ships or whatever. You were kind of envious if somebody was kind of getting a step or two ahead of you, but at the same time, you're like, well, man, they're kind of bringing a bunch of attention here. So A&R guys were showing up, producers were coming to town. They had a producer showcase. They had all these events, battle of the bands, things that were going on around the town. So Todd and Everyone's Nightmare and all of us were all doing all that at the same time. So we were bumping into each other, every weekend and every night and running around. So it was just fun. In that community, I've been in Nashville probably for 18 years, but I'm still super biased to Memphis. I still love it. It reminds me of Nashville, the music scene, where you could just walk in any hole in the wall and you just see somebody and you go, why does everybody in the world not know this person's name? They're so talented. But the difference between Nashville and Memphis is the infrastructure, the industry itself, the performing rights organizations, publishing, record labels, management companies, accounting firms, all that. They're very built into the ecosystem here because, this was a publishing town is how it became Music City. They were back in the day, a million years ago, they were printing hymnals and selling those, and that's the publishing world kind of started this whole thing. And so Memphis is very much like Nashville, but it just doesn't have that built-in ecosystem. There's definitely a lot of success that comes out of there, a lot of bands and things that are hopeful. But it just brings back tons of great memories for me. When I think about that and that era, you know, it had spilt over from the Sunset Strip had come in, and it kind of hit Memphis, and you were kind of like, everybody would go to Bill Street. It's kind of like our little strip, you know, that's down there. So you were always trying to get into something. And they did a lot of renovation right at the end of the 80s because Bill Street was kind of beat up.
Okay,
and then they kind of refurbished it, and so people started going down there again. There was two places, the New Daisy and the Old Daisy, were right across the street from each other, and they were old movie theaters, you know. And that's where the rock bands would go and do our shows and stuff. So it was fun, man.
Well, and it's just like, it's kind of interesting because you just kind of see like big cycles sometimes when you step back. And so it's interesting to see like you guys, you know, getting started, battle of the bands, winning, then taking your winnings and recording something, and kind of, so basically you work, you got this money, you put it back into it. And that's kind of where things for a lot of bands are, a lot of musicians are back to today, right?
That's
because
right.
we don't have those huge labels. It's you're investing your own.
Yeah, it feels like now the majority, and this is one perspective, I don't think I got it figured out at all. I think I'm learning all the time. It's why I still love it so much, why I'm still fired up about the industry. But it feels like from what I'd seen through the years here in town is they want you to have the development portion of it, and especially your fan base development, already established. And it's gotten pushed back into management companies and music publishing companies to develop you and find your audience and all that kind of stuff, because big corporate entities feel like they just want to plug you into their system and just shoot you out of their pipeline, you know, which makes sense. But it also opens up a lot of opportunities for people, independent artists and stuff. I mean, they're ruling freaking Spotify right now, the independent artists. And even though the big labels are making like $61 million a day, the independents still have the majority share of that. So they became powerful through technology and resources becoming available. And so for somebody like, you know, Todd and I that have we've been through two universes, we were in the physical realm of doing, you know, merchandise and records and vinyl and all that, to now we're in the digital world. We see all the potential that's there.
Right.
I get so excited for the next generation of people because they're going to change the world, you know?
Yeah.
I really believe that it's just, we're at a place where we've never been before with technology and stuff. So
And it's crazy to see, like, you know, we grew up late 80s, you know, I saw Tora Tora on tour with LA Guns, Dangerous
man, that was
Toys,
so fun.
Hammerjacks in
Hammerjacks.
Baltimore, right?
I just saw Jason last night singing, which was awesome, and then I got to see him here today. And we've known each other for like 40 years,
right?
35 years or something. I mean, and he's still amazing. He's still awesome, and he's another lifer, man. He's done it. He's done it with all his different projects. He's been, with a big giant company, corporate entity, and then he's done it independently and done all kind of projects with his solo stuff, you know.
Yeah, and the same with Tora, right? So one of the things that I like doing, not just sharing the music that is from, you know, my, I won't say childhood, but, you know, they say what you listen to when you graduated high school is kind of what sticks with you.
Yeah.
You know, for most of your life, and that is mostly true, right? But there's lifers like Jason, like you, right? You guys have put out like 4 singles.
Yeah, we're excited. We're building into a collection. I feel like, you know, we cut 12 tracks. Cut 12 tracks back in 2021. So Bastards of Bill, we went in with Frontiers Project, and we were on a really limited budget and limited time, and we cut that record live. I mean, like the old days. We put the room, you know, 3 guys out in the room and put me in a vocal booth, and they said, if you get it, great. If you miss it, we'll come back and punch you in later. And so it was a different process. With these tracks, we recorded it. We said, hey, instead of putting a bunch of pressure on all of us to get the whole song, let's just let John go in and freak out. He can tune his snare down and make it cool for a ballad, and he can, you know, tune his whatever you want to do. He really needed the room, and we can do guitars and stuff, however we want to at home or whatever. But so we did 12 tracks, and we started thinking if people listened to the whole record of Bastard of Bill, we said, man, we did Rose of Jericho, and we let out Silent Sirens, and then we did Prodigal Son, but we were like, did they listen to the rest of the record? Did they hear Lights Up the River or any of those songs? And we wondered, and then we said, well, why don't we just do one at a time? And I saw Tesla was doing this too, is they started kind of letting out one song at a time. I was like, okay, that's kind of a cool template and kind of a strategy, not template, but kind of a strategy of doing it, where you kind of just open it up and let it live for a minute and see if you get some kind of reaction. And what's funny, I have people write me now that go, hey, I like that Trip to Light Fantastic song, and it's from like a year ago. And I just go, wow, they never even heard it the first time. So we're going to build it to a point where we'll release all these out at the same time into some kind of project. And I think we're about 5 or 6 songs in. We've done Trip to Light Fantastic, Little Girl Blue. We did Go Where the Love Is. And then now we got Neptune Society that just came out. And I worked on 2 songs with Keith about 2 weeks ago. Did vocals on one. So we kind of are trying to stay about a song or 2 ahead as we're dropping one out. We kind of got one in the pipeline.
Yeah, and I think that's like back to the cycle thing. If you think back far enough, right, it was 7-inch singles.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Singles
what was out there.
Yeah.
Everybody
absolutely.
was doing singles. Everybody was doing singles. That kind of graduated to the LPs and whatnot. And it's kind of looped back, not necessarily for the same reason, but it's kind of looped back, and that's interesting to see. And folks have got a different attention span than they used to. They've gotten used to social media. They've gotten used to whatever the news story of the day is.
Right.
And so I think the approach that you guys are taking just keeps Tora Tora on your mind, keeping Tora Tora on your mind.
Yeah, it's just kind of trickling out, and some of these might be revisited, just in how they're mixed and all that stuff by the time we get ready to release the whole project. So it'll kind of be, one kind of complete project.
And then, so like you guys had released Bastards of Beale.
Yeah.
Lights Up the River. Absolutely love that song. It's a gorgeous song. And when I think about some of the Tora Tora stuff, there's like, I kind of get the themes of like water and time passing. And if anybody has listens to the older Tora Tora stuff, they should be listening to the new stuff too.
Yeah. Man, that Lights Up the River, Keith had that title. He read an article on Sam Phillips, and Sam was talking about Lights Up the River, like how people could be in the Delta and they'd see the lights of the city, from down in the Delta of Memphis. It was like kind of something that was hopeful and a place for them to go and, earn a living, And so he had that title kind of sitting around, and it was weird because we did the song and everything before we knew we were going to record at Sam Phillips' studio. So it's kind of this kind of universe thing just happened where we said, oh my God, we're going into Sam Phillips, and we wrote the song off of one of his, mentions in a random article. And I mean, doing that recording session was crazy because, it still looked like Sam was going to walk in. It's like seafoam green. It's got checkerboard floors. It's got red shag carpet, about 1.5 inches thick. And there's a distribution room upstairs, and then all the offices are up on the 3rd floor. And up there is a bar. It's decorated like 1950s, and it's still stocked and everything. You can go up there and have a drink. The counter's all burned. It's got like cigarette burns in it where people have left their cigarette too long.
That is cool.
And we just went. I went in to sing. I'll never forget it. There's this really famous singer, William Bell. He's a soul singer from Stax, and I'm a huge fan of his. We listen to his record for Christmas. We love all his songs. You Don't Miss Your Water Till the Well Runs Dry and all those songs. But anyway, they said, hey, William wants the room that day. And we were on a really strict time frame with Frontiers. We said we had a delivery date in August for it to come out in February. So it's like a 6-month pipeline. And we wanted it on the Monsters of Rock cruise. We said they're going to be the first people that hear the record. So I was like, I got to knock it out in August. And I picked the weekend. And then they said, William Bell wants the room. And I said, oh, my God. Well, I said, and they go, we'll send it to Nashville and you can sing up there. And I said, no, this is a Memphis record. I'm coming to Memphis. I'm recording down there. And so I show up the day. I walk in. I could hear William Bell's band. And, I was getting chills. I could hear the B3 and the guitar playing. And I was like, oh, my God, this is beautiful. And they said, come upstairs. We got to tell you something. And I just said, they're fixing to tell me I'm not singing today. I was getting upset. I was going up the stairs, and I was thinking they're going to take me to the bar and give me a drink and say, we can't record right now. But what happened is on the 2nd floor, I turned to go up, and it's Sam's office. You can't take pictures. You can't go in there. They don't let you do anything on the tour. His doors are open, and my microphone is in Sam's office.
Oh,
I sung the whole record in Sam Phillips' office. I'm not kidding.
Badass.
gives me chills.
They had the computer on the desk, and the desk was like the first iPod. There was a jukebox built in, and he would sit there and make phone calls. It's where he had his 45s.
Yeah.
So the computer's sitting there, and then my mic's up in the room, and I'm looking at these 2 white leather chairs, it's that red shag carpet, and they each have a little 70s cigarette ashtray next to it, a little stand-up, standalone ashtray. And above them is those 2 chairs, and it's Elvis and Sam with 2 chicks sitting in their lap and a cigar. And I'm like, oh my God, this is where they were sitting. This
Right
is
there.
awesome. And then right behind me was a console television from the late 50s, early 60s that had a drawer that pulls out for your 45s. And so there's a Roy Orbison 45 sitting on it. So in between every take, and I turn around and go, wow, there's Roy Orbison's. This is where
and
they were
Sam
listening to their
Phillips
records.
Office.
Yeah, I was so inspired. I sang for 2 days in there, like a Saturday and a Sunday. And I got right at the end, I was singing, there was something in Silence the Sirens, like a high line or something. I said, I'm not going to be able to get it. I'm tired, and it's at the end, and I got to go back to Nashville tonight. And they said, we'll grab you on one more weekend. Just don't worry, we'll fix it. And I just remember Keith and I just going, we just want to take a second to like absorb this.
Right.
Like I got to get ready and get in the mindset of I'm going back to reality, but let's think for a second. I just been standing here like, this is iconic. I was just so inspired. It was just such a fun, and the guy running the session was Jeff Powell. He worked on the Wild America record with us. He was an assistant engineer, and now he's the head engineer at Sam Phillips, and he cuts straight to vinyl. He has a lathe machine there, and he had reached out to me and said, I saw you guys at Patrick's benefit, that we had a benefit when Patrick wasn't feeling well for his medical bills, and he said everybody was sitting in, and he said, but when the 4 of y'all got up there, it was Tora Tora. He goes, I could tell y'all were all sitting in with each other and all this, but when y'all 4 got up there, it was like, this is the sound. And he goes, I was wondering, do y'all want to do a couple of songs? And he didn't know that we had talked to Frontiers or anything. I said, man, you're not going to believe this. We don't want to do 2. We want to come do a whole record with you. And so we went down there with them, and it was just so fun. The whole experience was great. I mean, we cut the album live and all that. So this time we've kind of taken a little bit different approach where we're just doing them one at a time. We did that one really fast, and it was cut live basically. And so these new songs, we said, let's just take our time and build them. And I think you can tell Keith is doing a lot of guitar work, like on Little Girl Blue and this last song, Neptune Society. He worked on that for a long time. And we're just enjoying it. We still love, being around each other and being creative. And it's the same 4 original guys. And we just kind of talked to each other and said, man, let's just keep doing it. And we'll just see if the audience likes it or whatever, that's cool. But we want to just kind of keep willing through it. Like we feel like we still have something we want to work on musically, just creatively to work through and stuff. And so we're just going to keep going. But anyway, anybody that's out there listening, you can find the new songs on all your digital platforms. We're on Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. You can go check out Neptune Society. That's the newest one. You can also go to toratoramusic.com. That you can always find us on there. You can sign up for our mailing list, and you'll get the newsletters or the latest updates on what's going on with the band. And then, of course, we'd love to see you out at live shows. We're about to do a show at Minglewood Hall in Memphis. It's our first time back in 3 years at home, and it's awesome. When I look out at the audience, I know everybody in the audience. I probably stayed out all night with everybody in the room when I was really crazy a long time ago. I know for sure. I'm looking at a couple of them like, damn, I don't even know if I need to be hanging out with you anymore. But no, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. But I know everybody there, and they kind of launched us, into being recognized, man, around the country. They were the first kind of super fans or whatever that would get on the phone call and call the radio station or call MTV when you used to call MTV. And so we're super indebted to them. So it's always like a really special vibe and feeling to be in Memphis when we play. And our opening band is Fever Tree, which is our drummer. John Patterson has a side project, which is awesome. Their singer is Tim Dills. I've known him since we were little kids. They gave us, he was in a band called Dots when we first started back in the late 80s. And they gave us our first paying gig. It was $40, and we couldn't believe it. We just went, they paid us to come down here and show up and we're going to play music. And so we've known them for a long time. We've split some rehearsal rooms with them. So I think it was very just kind of organically would come together that John and them would work together. He's a really killer singer and songwriter, and he's a keyboard player, really cool singer. Their whole band's really great. So, and we just thought it was a no-brainer. We're like, we hadn't played home in forever, and this would be a great way for your band. They've been playing a lot in Memphis and kind of just building up their shows and their playing time and all that stuff. And so we said, let's do this one together. So that's going to be really fun to have us all together. And then at the end of the month, we jump on Monsters of Rock Cruise, which is amazing. Anybody out there that's never done it, Larry and them go all out. Y'all have the craziest experiences, and you're with all your favorite artists out in the ocean. It's crazy. And most bands do like 2 shows, so you have a couple of times to catch them in case their schedules get mixed matched, and they're kind of competing for your time on there. But it's really exciting. They had asked us a couple of times to do it, and we never had the opportunity to do it. And then our bass player Patrick had kind of gone through a health scare, and thank God he was diagnosed with cancer, but they caught it very early, and they said, man, you're going to make a full recovery, nothing to worry about. And as soon as he got the green light from the doctor, he just said, I want to go play, whether it's 5 people or 5,000 or 50,000, whatever, I don't care, I want to play. And we jumped on the Monster Rock. It was the first time we'd ever done it. And, Larry and them, it was so fun because we just felt like, man, we found our tribe of people. We got on there and went, oh, my God. And we were fans of all the bands on there, too. We were seeing Tesla and Kix and Extreme and Queensryche, and everybody was on there. We just went, oh, my God. I remember getting on the boat on the first night, and Kix was playing at like 9 o'clock. And I went to my room just to sit down for a minute. We had been running around all day. I fell asleep, and I woke up, and it was like, a couple of minutes after 9, and I literally just sat up. I didn't even say anything to my wife or anything. I just ran out of the room, like full speed, like some kind of crazy person. I just sprinted all the way down the boat and got to the theater and just sat in the top of the theater to watch. And it was so good. Steve Whiteman's voice is still so great.
Oh my God, you're right.
And he is so funny. He gets the crowd involved.
He does.
That's our band. We're from Baltimore, so Kix is you're talking our language now.
We're super indebted to them because we played about 5 shows with them when we first started. It was right before our record came out. They had Don't Close Your Eyes was out everywhere, all over the radio, all over MTV. And we played Hammerjacks.
Yes, man.
Dude.
Yes.
It was so awesome.
We were probably there.
We literally fell in love with Baltimore. We would go in a day early just so we could go to and be at Hammerjacks. Mm-hmm. We were like, we got to go, and we want to go see everybody, and we want to just hang out. It was just, I can't even tell you. It was like I have a movie. That whole place was like 3 stories, 30 bars, people everywhere on the street. Yeah, it was like a little city, it was just crazy. But because we were affiliated with them, it gave us credibility in front of their audience, that we got out there. And I had tried to find Steve Whiteman back in 2008 was when we kind of re-emerged, getting out. We went to Rocklahoma, and Kix was there, and I just wanted to say thank you to him. I was like, man, we're indebted to y'all. Because we play with y'all, we could go back to Hammerjacks and headline by ourselves. And we did like 5 markets or something with them. Every one of them, they had sold out, and those people would come out and see us play. And that's what I wanted to say to him. Well, the day I tried to find him at Rocklahoma, he was doing warm-ups, and I couldn't talk to him. We saw the rest of the band. And so then I saw him, like all those years later, 2017, on the boat. And it was so funny, man. My wife and I went to go get something to eat in a dining room that was for the artists and stuff. And I walked in, and nobody was really in there. And then Steve and his wife walked in, and it was like this little cafe thing or something. And I said, God, I don't want to be this guy.
Right.
I know he's by himself, and they're doing what we're doing. They're trying to just be by themselves for me. But I said, I don't know if I'll ever catch him by himself again. And so I walked over there, and I said, hey, I wanted to tell you, he was real friendly. And I said, I just wanted to say thank you because y'all gave us an opportunity to play. And he was the most humble dude. He just goes, you know what? You had to go out there and earn it, man. And he goes, I still got your stuff on my iPod or whatever.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was just, he was really sweet.
He is.
Right.
Is what I was trying to say. He was just so down to earth and humble, and they're just so badass. He's one of my favorite front guys. He's awesome. His voice is still great. And I love just how he gets everybody involved. I was just laughing out loud at myself in that theater, man. I was up there by myself just losing it,
That's cool. And I think you guys share that, right? You guys are you're humble, and you are still believe in delivering, music and feeling and memories and making new memories and to the fans. And I think that's one of the great things about you, about Tora Tora. When we saw you guys had a little booth at the last ROCKNPOD, right? And John was there, and Keith was there, and you were there. And I was like, I'm kind of thinking about it. And all 3 of you are like, do it, we'll talk to you. And I was like, I don't know. And Chrissy's like, look, they're professionals. They do this.
I'm like,
Go
Just
for
do
it.
it.
Have
Do
some
it.
fun.
Right,
Have some
man.
fun. Let your hair down.
This was awesome. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I'm
That's
so
awesome.
glad too. Love the new music, Anthony.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for giving me a platform.
Absolutely. You are our first station ID, and I'm so thankful for that. Trying
Oh,
to
man,
get
this
off
is
the
awesome.
ground and whatnot. And so everybody listen, visit toratoramusic.com. Check out the show at Minglewood Hall, and we'll figure out how to get people onto the Monsters of Rock cruise whenever Tora Tora is
that's
playing.
right, man.
Maybe
We
next
gotta
year
do-
we'll do it. We're going to be in Italy this year, so that was our
Oh
big
man,
expense
this
for
is
this
a
year.
big trip. Italy,
Yeah.
here we come. It's gonna be
Right?
great food, man. Oh my God, I'm jealous, man. This sounds awesome.
Thanks, Anthony.
Awesome. Y'all have a great rest of your day, man.
All right,
Thanks.
man. You too.
Thank you.